Here we go. Okay, we are live.
Yay!
All right. This was perfect, very easy transition. For those who have been following mine and Serena's journey, we are still trying to figure out the live aspect, but we are coming to you on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you want us. We are here for you, and we're ready to support you guys. We're super excited to be chatting with you. I'm going to so if you have questions at any point,
Sarah, I don't know if it's just my internet. Am I lagging or?
I think it might be both of us. Let's see. Let's try this. Okay.
I can hear you now.
We're just gonna, okay, we're gonna go through. We're gonna go through the motions. And why don't we just go ahead and get it kicked off?
Am I lagging or?
All right, guys. For those of you that are following along for this, bear with us. We're figuring it out.
Celebrating.
We are not, but we know a whole lot about running and nutrition, and that's why you're here.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and let us kick this off. I'm gonna let Serena start. I'm gonna try and go inside and get some better Wi-Fi. Hopefully it's just me. But for those of you that don't know Serena yet, tune in. We've got a lot of great stuff for you. I'm gonna go offline and then I'm gonna try and pop right back on.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Serena Marie RD. I am a registered dietitian, which means I am a nutritionist that is certified in the United States to practice nutrition. So there's a little bit of a distinction between a nutritionist and a registered dietitian. And I specialize in running nutrition and intuitive eating. And this is why I was so drawn to Sarah, because Sarah also has this intuitive exercise approach. We connected on Instagram and we became friends instantly. I have been running for about 19 years. I started running in high school. I have run 5 marathons, 4 BQs. My favorite race is the half marathon, and I love to run because it is my way of meditating, relaxing, de-stressing. It's like one of my favorite things to do. And it goes perfectly with nutrition. I actually fell in love with nutrition because I started running when I was so young. I went to Cornell to get my nutrition degree. I got my RD at Yale University, and I've been studying and practicing nutrition since 2010. So I practice virtually. So I have an online virtual practice where I work with runners and help them PR, fix their relationship with food and their body. A lot of times runners stand in their own way and they don't eat the food they need to eat because they're so afraid of gaining weight, or they're afraid of eating those foods because they've heard so many scary things on social media, and it actually impacts their performance, because as a runner, as an athlete, our body needs nutrition, it needs protein, it needs carbs, it needs antioxidants, it needs fats to function appropriately and to fuel your performance. So that's kind of what I mainly do, and I'm excited to be partnering with Sarah to give you guys some tips each week during your journey. And I'm actually signed up for Sarah's 10K program too, so I'm going to be racing with you guys. I'm excited for that day to come, and I'm hoping that between now and then you guys take away a lot of helpful nutrition tips from these calls that we have, so that you guys feel a little bit more confident in making healthy nutrition choices. Sarah, am I lagging or am I okay?
You seem to be good. I think it was the problem with me.
Okay, that's okay. Let me know if you have, if I have any issues.
You're good. Awesome. So thanks so much for that intro, Serena. I think to get started, the number one question that we've all been asking is, okay, I know hydration is super important. Everyone knows, like, maybe a good rule of thumb is if your pee's clear, that's great. But let's talk a little bit more about how we should be hydrating before, after, and maybe even during our runs if we need to. So as you know, there's a lot of walkers, runners, and runners in the group. And so I know it can vary very much between the type of duration and what we should be putting in our bodies. So maybe we can just kick off with that.
Yeah, so I think the first thing to know, guys, is that if you are someone who's starting from a place where you barely drink water at all, then what we talk about right now, you might be like, Serena, like, I barely drink water at all, and now you're telling me to drink X number of ounces a day. That feels really, like, difficult and scary. So we have to remember the way we make long-lasting changes, the way Sarah's structuring her program, right, is we start with the low mileage and we slowly build. That's what nutrition should be too. So if right now you're someone who barely drinks water ever, I want you to literally walk away from this just saying, I'm going to drink 1 glass of water tomorrow. Or I'm going to drink 2 glasses of water tomorrow, right? Make it very, very simple. But we can get a little bit more technical and kind of think about like the more scientific approach to this, which I obviously think is really fun. So a good starting point for us would be to take our weight in pounds, half it, and have that being our starting place for how many ounces a day we need to drink. So a 130-pound woman would need a minimum of 65 ounces a day. Now that's before you go out into the 1,000,000% humidity that is New York City and you lose all of your water weight and sweat, right? So that is our bare minimum for the day. So the way I like to think about that is I usually have a handy dandy water bottle and I ask myself, how many ounces or how many of these water bottles do I need to drink a day to get to my bare minimum? So this is a 40 ouncer, so I need to drink 1.5 water bottles a day to get to my bare minimum. Then we have to think about how do we replace what we've lost when we're outside sweating? Sarah, do you want to talk a little bit about that? I don't want to be the only one.
No, this is the Nutrition Corner with Serena.
Okay. So basically what I like to recommend is once you start getting into that time period where you're going to be out there for 45 minutes, an hour, right, we can really start losing sweat. And I don't want to hear, I'm a slow runner, I'm a fast runner. You're a runner. You need to care about getting nutrition into your body and hydrating correctly. So I want you guys to weigh yourself before you go out for your run in the nude, okay, after you use the bathroom. When you come back from your run, you weigh yourself again after you use the bathroom before you drink anything. For every pound you lost, you want to drink 2 more cups of water or 16 more ounces of water. So you would add that to your baseline, which is half your body weight. And then that becomes your new, like, goal that you aim to drink every single day as your baseline. Now, what you also are going to find is you're going to be thirsty while you're running, right? So if you're running for less than an hour, I say to just bring some water with you. They sell lots of handy dandy like belts that have little water bottle holders, and just aim to take 1 to 2 ounces every 15 to 20 minutes. It might feel awkward at first. You can practice it. You can stop and take a little sip, and then you can practice the motion of starting to run and drink at the same time when you feel ready to do that. And then once we start to get into those hour plus distances, then you would want to replace that water with a sports drink, but use the same rule of thumb where we're drinking 1 to 2 ounces every 15 to 20 minutes, because if we put too much liquid in our belly while we're running, we might get a stomach ache. Definitely. Does that sound like kind of a rule of thumb you're using as well, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be very honest, I don't weigh myself, but I know that for some people too, the scale can feel like an enemy, and that's like a little bit of a scary thing. We won't go into that this session. Maybe if there's requests from people in the future, we can talk about that. But another question that has come up is, okay, so if I have my base of water, how should I factor in electrolytes or sugary drinks or things along those lines? And then in addition to that, if I'm drinking coffee or alcohol, should I be adding more water on top of that, or is it perfectly fine?
Mm-hmm. So when we're thinking of electrolytes. So I'll start there. So when you're running less than an hour, I would say it's perfectly fine just to like bring water on your run. So the electrolytes are going to be in those sports drinks, right? And so you can just bring like water on your run and you'll probably be fine, because remember guys, when we get home, and you should be eating and drinking when you get home, food has electrolytes in it. Add some salt to your food and you should feel okay. If you want to pop one of those like Noon tablets into some water and drink that up too, you can totally do that. Now, here's something that's really important to remember, especially I know Noon is like a really popular sports drink. A lot of the Noon tablets have no calories in them. And when we are out running, so when we get to that hour plus running and we need to get the electrolyte absorption, we actually need sugar to absorb those electrolytes. So if you pop one of your calorie-free Noons into your little sports hydration flask, you're not really serving your body. You might actually get diarrhea. So that's when we need to make sure we get those sugary beverages. And I know they're really demonized, but it's actually exactly what your body needs. You're actually helping your body by giving your body sugar at that time, because it helps with the absorption in the small intestine. So the fluid goes from our belly, where we kind of drink, it goes all into our belly, and then it moves into the next part of digestion, our small intestine, and it's much more easily absorbed when there's some sugar there. So that's kind of the difference between, do we need a calorie-free, sports repletion beverage, which would be like when you're eating and you're not really like relying on it for fuel, versus when you're on the run, you want something with some calories. Caffeine becomes dehydrating when you've had a large amount of it. So if you're just having like 1 to 2 cups a day, 8 to 16 ounces of regular coffee, not like the cold brew extra strong stuff, you're probably not getting dehydrated. However, if you are someone who's drinking like cold brew, like a large cold brew, or if you're drinking more than 2 cups a day, then yes, you probably would want to start adding some extra fluid to it, right, to your daily intake. So maybe you just say, let me drink another 2 cups. Let me just add that to my baseline. And same with alcohol. Absolutely, you're going to be dehydrated after a night of drinking. Wake up the next day, really hit the water hard, pop some of those Noon tablets if you want, like get those electrolytes back into your system.
Definitely. We love the Noon tablets.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. They're really yummy.
Yeah, they're really great. I think I have an addiction to them. I have like one of every line. I have the vitamins, the immunity, the sleep. And as I drink them, I'm like, this could be total placebo, but I'm buying it, so it works.
This one makes you feel relaxed?
It does. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like to add cherry juice to it. Again, like maybe you can speak a little bit to like the benefits of cherry juice. But I love putting cherry juice in mine.
Yeah, cherry juice, I mean, obviously it's a fluid, so it's going to be hydrating, guys. But cherry juice is really cool because it's rich in something called nitric oxide. So what nitric oxide does is it actually helps to dilate our blood vessels. And what this does is it gets more oxygenated blood to our muscles, which feels really good when we're running because it helps us to actually feel a little bit more at ease when we're running. So we perceive that running is less difficult, so we can push harder. Now, it's not the kind of thing you can just take willy-nilly and it works. You have to build it up in your system. But if you're consistently eating nitric oxide-rich foods such as tart cherry juice or dark green leafy vegetables, which we should all be eating all the time, then you will have enough nitric oxide to kind of have that benefit. And there's also other benefits, like it helps with reducing high blood pressure. It's been shown to help with like reducing incidence of heart disease. So that it also has some other like fringe benefits.
Lots of great stuff. I'm going to keep going. If you guys, whoever's watching, if you have questions, drop them into the chat. It can be about hydration. It can be about other things too. I want to go back to one point earlier that you made about putting salt on your food.
Yeah.
Because I know this is a very controversial topic. I know a lot of people think they should be avoiding salt or not salting their foods. I personally think that you should be salting your food if you're running, if you're sweating, but maybe we can get your take on what we should be doing with the salt.
Yes, absolutely. So the sad thing about like my field of study, nutrition, is that there's so much controversy, and it's because a lot of the science has been politicized, and there's a lot of like money to be made from people buying into things. This is why Sarah and I are so against the diet industry. And this is one of those myths where salt has been totally blown out of proportion. And if you look at the literature, eating salt really is not linked with high blood pressure, which is the reason people tend to to avoid it. And the other thing that's important to note is that sodium and potassium work together. So if you are somebody who is eating a diet rich in fruits and vegetables and dairy and nuts and seeds, you're getting a lot of potassium in your diet, and you're actually kind of like negating that sodium intake. You're kind of balancing it out. So obviously everyone's diet looks different. We're not judging anyone's diet if you don't eat a lot of those foods, right? But if you are someone who is eating a lot of fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, dairy, you're kind of like already crossing out that salt intake. So the other thing to note is that a lot of those studies that are linking salt intake to high blood pressure are looking at the intake of highly processed food. So if you're somebody who is eating a lot of processed foods, I don't think it's the salt that's affecting your blood pressure risk potentially. I think it's something else in the food. But again, we could break that's a whole topic thing. So ultimately, yes, as runners, we're sweating a lot, we're losing a lot of salt, and especially those of you who are eating a minimally processed diet, we definitely need to add salt to our food. There is very limited evidence that if you have high blood pressure, you need to worry about salt intake. Really, the most important thing is fitness. Above all, the most important thing you can do for your health if you have high blood pressure is follow Mindful Miles and do your exercise and run, right? That's the most important thing. Salting is going to help prevent cramping. It's going to help you feel more hydrated while you're training in this oppressive heat.
Yep, definitely. Preach to all of it. I love it. I think another question too that's come up a lot is because it's because it's so hot out, a lot of people have suppressed appetites, which is, again, that's a topic we can cover on its own. And if you want to go down there for a couple minutes, we certainly can. But in addition to that, they also have a hard time drinking water because I've heard that it makes you feel very full and it's really hard to get those fluids in. So do you recommend eating, fruits or vegetables that are really high in water content, or what are your tips for people that just really hate water?
Yeah, so if you really hate water, remember that things like carbonated beverages like La Croix, that can be meeting your water quota. The problem with heat suppressing your appetite and bubbly beverages is they both make you feel like the bubbles will make you feel fuller faster. But if you're someone who's like loves seltzer, that's good. You can add something like Noon to make your water yummier. You can add lots of like lemon, lime, cherries. Oh my God, frozen mango. Buy it from Trader Joe's and let it defrost in your water. And it is like magical. And then you have a snack at the end when the mango gets all melty and delicious. So that's another tip or trick. So try to make your water fun. I think investing in a water bottle that keeps your water cold. A lot of my clients love straws, like making it so the water is not like, room temperature and you're drinking it out of a water bottle that you bought at CVS 5 months ago. Like make it appealing and yummy. In terms of having a suppressed appetite and balancing that, that's so true, right? You come home from a run, you're dying of thirst, you chug 1,000 gallons of water, you're not hungry. So one of like the nice strategies you can use is making a smoothie is a really good idea because it can be hydrating, but you can also sneak nutrition in there. And also liquid calories are much easier to consume when you're not truly hungry. So I think it's a good idea before you head out, maybe you do some meal prep, you put some like healthy, not healthy, but you meal prep like some berries or some melon or some like fruits or veggies that are really hydrating. You put it in like a little plastic baggie. You grab some oatmeal or banana. You throw it in there with some like milk or some coconut water that's really hydrating. And then you blend it all up and you can kind of sip on that throughout the day to kind of sneak some extra calories in with some extra hydration as well.
Perfect. Yeah, that all sounds great. I think too, like one of my, some of my favorite tips when it comes to water are when you wake up in the morning, the very first thing you should do is slam a glass of water. I prefer room temp. Some people prefer cold. It's entirely up to you. I think getting that water in you first thing is going to wake up your system. It's going to energize you and it's going to start your day with some fluids. You're going to start getting that back in your body after sleeping for hopefully 8 hours and not having anything at all. But another thing too is Serena made a great point is get a nice reusable water bottle. For some people, the straw does the trick, and just having something to mindlessly constantly sip on, that works. For me, it's just something that I can constantly carry around with me like a purse. And so I'm constantly like, again, like you won't even notice after a while, you're just unscrewing, drinking, rescrewing, So I think that too, like make a good investment in a nice water bottle that you're going to want to carry around with you, especially as you, go to parks, go to beaches, whatever it is. If you're leaving the house, make sure you bring that water with you. Your water bottle should be like your purse. You really want to emphasize that hydration, because if you go out on your run and you're dehydrated, you can't hydrate for a run an hour before the run. You really it has to be the day of, the day before, whatever it is. Hydration is a constant thing. It's not like you can get ready for your run by hydrating. So yeah, just a quick tip. It looks like we did have a question come in for Serena. So how long should people wait for a meal to digest before going on a run? Is this like the don't jump in a pool before 30 minutes or?
So everyone's system is different, and some people have very sensitive stomachs, and some people like can eat a Thanksgiving dinner and go for a run, so everyone's different. But, the other thing to think about is nutrient timing and how it's going to affect your performance. Like we want the nutrients, right? It's not like you eat the food and it magically is floating around in your bloodstream giving you nutrition. It has to go into your stomach and your small intestine, and it has to get absorbed, right, and broken down. So we need like 1 to 2 hours for to digest and get energy from meals that are more complex. So meals that are a little bigger, meals that are going to have protein, carbs, and fats. If you're like, Serena, I need to get out the door in the next 30 minutes, choose something super easy to digest. So something like a piece of fruit or a piece of toast with some jelly, peanut butter with a little bit, banana with a little bit of peanut butter, like something like super easy to digest. That's better for that 30-minute window. Or drinking something like taking a gel or drinking some juice, like that's good for like when you have like a time crunch before you leave out the door. Applesauce, my early morning runners love applesauce. Yeah.
I haven't thought about that one. I think too, like a good rule of thumb might be, and Serena, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you could think of something that's like 3 ingredients or less, so make it as simple as you possibly can. But then in addition to that, a lot of learning digestion is going to be trial and error. So, and it's not always fun. Like I continue to make this mistake where I think I can crush a protein bar and then go on a run, and then I feel like I just got punched in the gut. But I would suggest if you're going to try those things out, any day but the long run and your speed workout. Those are the days you really want to be prepared, because that's when you're asking your body to do more than it normally does. But for most of you, what we're programming is we're working on building that base mileage. So you have room to play around with running with a water bottle, running with a belt, trying something before you walk out the door. And as we lead up to this race at the end of the 8 weeks, you're going to want to know come race week what your body likes. What, if you are a morning breakfast person, or if you prefer to run and then enjoy breakfast. So really try to just play around with it. It's all going to be trial and error, but definitely keep us posted as you guys try things. Like I always love to hear how things are working for people. Another thing I did want to come back to, though, was with these nutrition tips that I'm sending out weekly on Serena's behalf, guys, how I want you to think about it is I want you to think about it as your challenge for the week. So this week's challenge was water. So can you be very mindful about drinking water? And if you haven't up until now, that's fine. We still have a couple days left in the week, but really think about, can I drink this water? How will it make me feel? How will my skin look? Like if you're low on water, you're going to see some serious benefits. But the hope is, and like Serena said earlier, nutrition is not something that you just jump from 0 to 100. Running is not something where you just start from 0 and then you go race a 5K. You have to slowly build yourself in, or else you're going to not be very happy with running. You're not going to be very happy with nutrition because you're going to put way too many rules on yourself. So think of these as fun challenges and try them on, whatever works for you. Like this is the body weight thing is a really great tip. If that works for you, continue to do it. If you feel like you need a little bit more water, power to you. But we're just here to guide you, to help you out, and to give you these pointers.
Yeah. And, to Sarah's point, like if the body weight thing overwhelms you, you don't like the scale, the first thing Sarah said, look at your pee, make sure it's clear or it's like pale yellow. that works perfectly fine, right? Like if your pee is pale yellow and you're just drinking more on the days you go sweat, right? Like that works perfectly well too. So you don't have to geek out about the science. If you don't like weighing yourself, that's totally fine. Then don't weigh yourself. The weight, literally the only thing I ever recommend weighing yourself for is literally for this, for hydration, nothing else. So yeah, the point is like, you need to take from this experience, like whatever it is that's comfortable for you, and you start there. And if you feel like you're progressing slower than other people or you're progressing faster, that's fine, right? Like this is meant to help you. So who cares what everyone else is doing? Like as long as you walk away from this experience feeling like you learned a thing or two about your body and how it reacts to hydration. And I think we'll definitely talk about pre-workout snacks at some point during this experience, because everybody's different. And like we were saying, digestion's different. Your body is different. What works for you is not going to work for me or versus for Sarah. So it's really just trial and error and consistency and committing to trying something and paying attention. So often we're in such a rush. We're just like, eat this, drink this, run out the door. And it's like, no, like slow down, be mindful. You know, you have to do a 3-mile run today. Why don't we test out this breakfast combo and see how it feels? And that way for race day, you're going to be like, yeah, I know my like power combo that I eat before I go running.
Exactly. Yep. And so before I continue, I'm going to give a last call for questions. If you guys have any, throw them in the comments right now. But one other point I wanted to hit was there are people of all different fitness levels in this community. And the point of this community is for us to cheer each other on. So some of you may be really proud that you drank as much water as you did. Share that with the community because we want to cheer you on. And some of you may be proud because you just ran your first mile without stopping. What I'm getting at is I don't want you to compare yourself to others. Your wins are your wins, and we are all here to celebrate you. If anyone in this group is here to discourage you, I mean, they're just not, they wouldn't be in this group. That's not what this is about. But really, I want you guys, because there are people of different fitness levels, really think about what Serena and I are telling you and do what works best for you. So we're going to give you all of these tips about nutrition, and you can be as into it or not into it as you want. I'm going to give you the running tips. I'm going to give you the workouts of the week. And some weeks you may be all in and you want to do all of the things to the T, all of the workouts, all of Serena's tips, and that's great. And other weeks you may just say, listen, I just want to run this week, bare minimum, and that's perfectly fine too. All that we're asking is that you continue to show up for yourself, because you're not going to see results if you don't show up for yourself. This is not about running a certain time, losing a certain amount of weight. This is about building a healthy lifestyle for you to go way beyond these 8 weeks, for you to be proud of the person you've become, the person you're becoming, and know that we're always here to support you. So please do not feel intimidated by these tips. Some of them, I mean, I'm not going to lie, Serena, weighing myself before and after a run, that's new to me. And that sounds intimidating. I'm like, ooh, math. Eh. But then I think about it and it's simple math. Like, why don't I try it? What do I have to lose? So really just don't be intimidated by any of the things we say to you. If you have questions, please ask, because I'm sure someone else has that same question. So I know this goes without say, but I'm going to say it anyways. It's a judgment-free zone. We are here for you.
I love that. I want to like round of applause. That's perfect. I love that so much.
Great. Awesome. Well, I think we should go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys have questions or suggestions for what we should cover next week, please feel free to reach out to either Serena or I, and we will make sure to get it in the lineup. But we'll see you guys next week. And Serena, if you have anything else you want to wrap up with, here's your chance.
Yeah, so I'll be offering this every week, but if you guys want to schedule a completely free 15-minute consultation with me, I talk really fast. I can do a lot of talking in 15 minutes and help you out. Just either message me on Facebook, Instagram at Serena Marie RD, or send me an email, serena@serenamarierd.com, and we will set that up for you.
Perfect. All righty. We'll see you next week, Serena.
Bye. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Bye, everyone.